What up? Welcome back. Episode 9 of our season recaps 26-27 NBA season. We'll kick it off, as always, draft lottery, pre-draft. If Brighton Breed a year ago was the generational talent, then Jalen Justice entering the league is a once-in-a-century point guard talent. He's a LeBron James in a point guard body. There's no question about it. He is going to be a game changer at the next level, and whoever gets the top pick is instantly going to change themselves from a potential contender to an immediate rebuild. You've already got your star. He's going to be good enough to carry anybody else. If you get him, your future is as bright as anyone in the league. Let's jump into it, the lottery. The Raptors are trying to grab that one. The Thunder, they've still got one more pick coming their way. This one via the Paul George trade. The Bucks via Denver. Denver struggles the year before with the departure of Giannis. The Bucks are the beneficiaries of that one. They get the third best odds at this pick. The fourth overall pick potentially going to the Pacers and the Bulls. As it plays out, Toronto Raptors stay at number 1. It's the first time since at least 2020 in this one that no team jumped into the top 5. As you see, the Raptors go 1, the Bucks go up from 3 to 2, the Thunder end up at 3, the Bulls go from 5 to 4, and the Pacers 4 to 5. So the top 5, pretty consistent, a very dull lottery, all for the chance to get Jalen Justice. But beyond him, there's a handful of other guards that are going to come into this league and positively impact it. Tyrese Alston, a very talented point guard. He's coming in out of, I believe it's going to be, we're going to confirm this one for you. It's coming in out of Tennessee for Tyrese Alston. CJ McCoy is kind of like an Allen Iverson type of guard. He's coming from USC. He's a 2 guard, but he dominates like he's a 1 guard, like he's a PG. Dwayne Qualls, meanwhile, is this ferocious Gary Payton-type defender. He's coming in out of Oklahoma. And then the best forward is a Slovenian, Tomas Bajsa. And so it's really going to be a question mark in this top 5. Those are the guys. That's going to be your top 5. There's no question about it. It's Justice, it's Alston, it's McCoy, it's Qualls, and it's Bajsa. The question is, in what order do they go? So how does it play out? Jalen Justice, no surprise. He goes number 1. Dwayne Qualls, he goes to Milwaukee. He's at number 2. Again, that's via the Giannis trade. Tyrese Alston goes number 4. CJ McCoy goes number 5 to the Pacers. And you say, hey, where's Bajsa? Bajsa goes number 3, but he ends up being just a massive disappointment for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They completely whiffed on it in a draft in which, again, they get these top 5 picks when they have guards. They've got Shea. They've got Cade Cunningham. They need forwards. They need wings. That's why they traded Javon Roll for Ibrahim Mobley the season before. In this case, it just does not pan out for them. Bajsa is a complete bust at the number 3 overall pick. Some other notables, though. Phoenix Jones goes number 8 to Houston. He's going to be a key factor in an upcoming season for the Houston Rockets. At number 10, Noja Sosnauskas, he goes to the Phoenix Suns. He's going to be a really nice forward for them as they're trying to build a lot of new pieces here in the post-Booker, post-Ayton world. Malik Hightower goes to the Brooklyn Nets as they're trying to, now they got Louis Morgan, now they've got Malik Hightower as they're building around it. Dominique Allen goes to Toronto. They had 2 first-round picks. So they got Jalen Justice, they got Dominique Allen. And they've also, don't forget, Ezekiel Morrow taken in a previous draft. And then later in the draft, kind of a big gap between some good ones, but Joshua Chapman becomes a pretty good scorer for the Nuggets, and then Samaj Bishop becomes a really nice center for the Lakers at number 20. All right, let's move to the offseason where the Warriors and the Hornets are going to trade James Wiseman and Anthony Edwards. It's just a straight swap. Charlotte gets Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman to Golden State. Bam Adebayo, Lonzo Ball, Kevin Porter, Christian Wood, they all return to Miami. Trae Young, Marvin Bagley III. Marvin Bagley's actually become a really nice center for the Knicks. They're both back. And then the former lottery picks during the offseason, Jaheim Briggs. He's the number 7 overall pick back in 23 from Chicago. He actually signs in Houston. He really struggled in Chicago, tries to head to Houston to resurrect his career. Let's move on to the regular season. Edwards, in his first season in Charlotte, absolutely dominates. 30-plus in his first year. He's the lone offensive weapon. Zion, to begin the year, suspended for PEDs. He misses 25 games. New Orleans struggles to a 500 record without him before rallying back. The defending champions trying to get back there. The Mavs move on from James Harden. They send him to Brooklyn. They bring back Miles Turner. They're trying to get a paint presence that can spread the floor. They didn't really have that. The Warriors, they acquire the aforementioned Briggs from Houston. They it just really kind of bouncing around right here for Briggs, and the Warriors try to resurrect him. They send him to Golden State for a 2026 first, Devin Vassell and Greg Brown. So the Warriors, not a terribly small package to go get Briggs. And then one season after trading Kawhi, the Clippers move on from Paul George. He is dealt to the Sixers in exchange for Malcolm Brogdon. Let's move to the records themselves. The Spurs, 61 wins. Again, we talked about Sasha Kasparov in the last one. Had he been able to stay healthy, this guy just could have been game-changing for the Spurs. Cole Anthony, another big piece for that group. The Warriors, they get 60 wins. That's second. The Rockets, they go on that late-season push. They win 44 games and make the playoffs. They're finally starting to come around. They don't really have a star, despite all that. Not having any other draft picks, they still have 44 wins, make the playoffs. The Mavs, 48 wins, 7th seed. Second straight matchup now they're going to get with Golden State in the first round. Luka, Giannis, no Harden anymore. The Wolves, they won 15 straight games to begin the season, led by Booker, D'Angelo Russell, and Karl Anthony Towns. They go 33-34 the rest of the way, end up as a 6th seed. We mentioned Anthony Edwards becoming just this offensive, impressive player, but they only win 34 games. They miss the playoffs by 3 games. And during the season, some expansion rumors start to percolate. There's expectation that maybe, potentially this coming summer, the league will expand to 32 games. One other big note, and this one's huge for the Warriors. Steph and Klay Thompson announced that at the end of the 2027 NBA season, they're going to be retiring from the NBA. This is a group that has been obviously dominant for the last decade plus. They've won numerous championships. They've won just in this era. If we're starting right in 2019-20, they've run 4 championships. They won 4 in a row from 21 through 24. The 27 season, they've announced, this is it. We're moving on. They're trying to go out on top. MVP. Let's move on to some awards. Luka Doncic dominates, gets the MVP, 35, 10, and 9. Just an incredible season from him. Sasha Kasparov, we mentioned, he could have been life-changing and franchise-changing had he just been able to stay healthy for the Spurs. He gets Defensive Player of the Year and Most Improved. 6th man goes to Nefi Diop and the Houston Rockets, and Jalen Justice, surprising nobody, gets Rookie of the Year. All NBA teams. Trey Hunter, 3rd team All-NBA. Jonathan Kuminga, 3rd team All-NBA. That's the start of this changing over. Some new names are starting to infiltrate the top of the NBA hierarchy. Anthony Edwards gets a 2nd team nod for leading the league in scoring. Kind of a controversial one, but he makes it there nonetheless. And Cade Cunningham, a 1st team All-NBA nod. Let's move to the playoffs, where the Spurs are stunned in the opening round. Nefi Diop and the Rockets take down the Spurs in 4 games. Golden State, Dallas, they go to a deciding 5th game, but the Mavs lose in the first round for the 6th straight year now. The Warriors then move on, take down the Grizzlies, rallying from down 3-1 to keep the Steph and Klay era alive. They have to go through John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. to get that one. They rallied back from a 52-point win in Game 6. That's how they kind of kept this thing to force Game 7. Then Steph has 37 in Game 7 to advance to the Western Conference Finals, where they get a rematch with New Orleans, goes to 7 games. In that Game 7, Zion takes just 2 shots, and the Warriors win it 142-80. They're going to get the Detroit Pistons, who worked their way through the Eastern Conference. They take down the Orlando Magic, who a lot of people expect this Orlando-Detroit rivalry to maybe be the deciding teams of the future in the Eastern Conference at this point. But it's Detroit moving on to face Steph and Klay in their swan song season. Let's get there where Steph and Klay get just that. The Warriors win it in 6 games. Steph averages 30 points per game to get Finals MVP. It's their first NBA championship since 2024. That seems wild, but they won 4. They take 2 years off, and they get back and win the NBA championship. Steph Curry now his 5th championship Finals MVP to his name as they move on. Some big notes here. Curry in Game 6 has 14 threes on his way out. It's a finals record as the Warriors march on. James Wiseman has a really great playoffs or NBA Finals, averages almost 17 rebounds per game, 17 or more boards in 5 of 6. Klay has a nice little run there. Jonathan Kuminga kind of proving why he's an All-NBA guy, but they needed some big games in Game 5 and Game 6. Steph Curry delivered 33 in Game 5, 49 in Game 6, almost gets himself another 50-point game in the NBA Finals. And that's how we end it in 27. The Golden State Warriors are back on top for the 5th time in the last 7 years. But with the departure of Steph and Klay, there's a new era that's about to dawn on the NBA. And it's going to be a fun next couple of years.